Hello, Yerds, and welcome to another episode of Yearbook University. So today we're going to be talking about design, and in particular we're going to be focusing in on alignment, which is a really important aspect to good design, especially in a multi-page spread publication like Yearbook. So let's get right on into it. So alignment, and again I'm going to want you to take notes, that way you can show me tomorrow in class that you have watched this video, and then we'll also do a little activity about alignment, and we'll be practicing alignment throughout the term when it comes to our yearbook. But alignment, what alignment does is it helps us help our readers, really. It's when we line up all the elements throughout the spread, it easily fixes problems. Good design is nothing more than just thinking about how your readers are going to go about moving throughout your publication, how you can best deliver your information. That's all good design is. So alignment, without it, readers usually feel frustrated, they feel lost, they don't know which way to go and look at particular elements. Things just look jumbled and chaotic. So an easy way to fix this is to just simply line things up. So when we're thinking about doing yearbook and design in general, particularly graphic design, no element should just ever be thrown on the page. Nothing is just on the page at random. Everything should line up with something else, kind of add this cohesive packaging to it. You know, everything kind of fits together. It's helping provide unity, which creates a sense of calm and organization, and also makes your viewer feel more trusting in the delivering of the information because it's more professional, which is what we want to look in our publication. So like I mentioned before, when we use alignment, it helps creates a principle of design, which we call unity. So when we unify things, we take two individual pages and we take the content on one page and we marry it to the content on another, making it unified, which when we read a book, we're really looking at the two pages together, which in your book we call a spread. So we want to create unity throughout the entire publication and between the individual pages onto a spread. So when we line things up across the gutter, it helps unify one page to another. And again, the gutter is right where those two pages come together. There's that fold. So that is what we call a gutter. Here, I'll show you. Right now I'm in Arizona at my Justin's Advisor training. So here is just a simple brochure, but this brochure has an example of a gutter right here. And you can see that in this brochure they are creating unity between these two pages with the alignment of these two text boxes and the similar design of the horizontal kind of really light line. So again, they're creating unification throughout this entire brochure by using similar elements and aligning them from page to page. So you can see actual practice right here in this random thing that I just dug out. Also, another way that we can create unity is by using columns and grids. Again, columns and little grids, which are little squares throughout the entire page, help us to figure out where that alignment should be, how things kind of fit together like little puzzle pieces. That, in addition to using a cohesive eye line all the way across the page, are methods that can unify a spread and then the entire publication. So when we use alignment, there are three types of alignment that are commonly used to guide readers. They are left, centered, and right. You might have encountered these alignments when you have justified type in various Word documents. So justified type aligns them either on the left or the right or down the center line, and it aligns the text so it shifts all that way. The most common kind of aligned type that we will see will be left-hand aligned type, because again we read left to right, so having that cohesive straight linear line on the left makes it so easy, makes it easier for readers to follow and kind of sequentially move from lines of text one to another. So what you'll see in design is left aligned text is most common. So again, we're going to go back to our handy little brochure right here, and you can see that this particular designer is using left aligned type both in their headline and in their caption underneath. Again, here we've got left alignment You can see it all the way through. Again, the edge of this left aligned text is aligned to the type down at the bottom. We have one straight line right here. And again, that creates order. It creates a real strong kind of line for our viewers to follow the information from one page to the next, from top to bottom, all those sort of things. So now we're going to take some looks at yearbook spreads. And here we have one from Trinity High School. This is not what their spread actually looks like. This one has been altered for the sake of this presentation. So this is an example of when alignment is not working. Okay, so we do have some things that are kind of aligned on here, like these photos are lined up. And this text is kind of lined up, but you can see element to element, package to package, there is like no rhyme or reason. It is like blah on this page. You don't really understand where you're supposed to go next. You kind of just are like, and you don't want to look at it, you don't want to read the information. We can tell that our eye is first going to go to this because it's the largest thing on the spread. It's what we call the dominant photo. But from there, we have no idea where the caption is, where the story is, how we're supposed to travel around the spread. It's very chaotic. It's not pleasant to look at. They're using a lot of design techniques, but again, because things are not aligned, you have no pathway. You have no kind of roadmap about how you're supposed to read the information. So let's take a look at the spread once we apply the concept of alignment. So now we can see that this is the same kind of information, but now we're using alignment. We have aligned the text in a nice vertical column over here, and it is centered underneath this headline, so we can tell very easily that So Hoko, this headline is going to be having to deal with this content right underneath. We have a very strong presence of a beautiful eyeline straight across the spread, and again, this rectangle right here is representing two pages in the yearbook, making a spread. So the gutter would be right about here. I'm not a big fan of where this photo is right here because he's probably living in the gutter, which is not a great place to put somebody. Nobody wants to live in the gutter. But anywho, you can see that this eyeline is consistent through the two pages, really unifying and giving your eye almost like a super highway to travel across the country of this spread. From one side of the country to the other side, we use this real big interstate to move all the way across. That's why an eyeline is super important, is it really unifies the two spreads. Again, we're aligning things. We have this column of information aligned over here. We've got the top of this dominant photo aligned with the top of this caption. There's a real cohesion now to each one of the packages. The viewer knows which different parts go together because we have aligned them and configured the information in a really understandable way. So now we're going to look at another example of how alignment's working. So again, you can see here that this spread has really more of a modular kind of grid format. It's very, very square and rectangular versus this one has a little bit more of a circular sort of shape to the outside. It's got a lot of smaller information, kind of bits and pieces thrown in here. This one's like really packaged. But again, they're using very strong alignment. We have a nice, very strong line right here being created by the edge of the type, lining with the edge of the photos. We also have columns of text. We've got two column texts for their body copy underneath their headline, and again, it's aligned. The top of the headline is aligned with the bottom of the eyeline. So you can see each one of these things is kind of following these really strong skeletal bones that help make up the framework of the spread. So again, I want to reference that alignment seems like a really difficult concept, but once you understand the importance and kind of the layering that is in a spread or in a graphic design document, it's relatively easy. Again, our eyes want to see things aligned. We want to see that sense of unity because it gives us calmness. It allows us to trust more in the content because it looks more professional and more presentable. So next time you guys are doing a PowerPoint presentation, you're organizing information or creating a poster, think about aligning it. It's going to make it a lot easier for your viewers to really relax and take in the information that you're delivering. So one way that we're going to do that in Yearbook is we are going to use a grid. So here we have an example of what you're going to see on Yearbook Avenue. We have a grid, so that's what all these little squares are made up. It looks like a screen door almost. These are two individual pages, and down the center you can see that there's this kind of blank no man's land. This is what we call the gutter, where those two pages again meet in the fold. And so we don't ever put anything important in the gutter or close by the gutter. And these two pages together make a spread. And again, we're going to be referencing all those terms again, but just really to emphasize that we use the grid to help us align text, to help us see the grid work that we need to incorporate in and kind of create that skeletal structure for our spread. So we're going to be practicing alignment tomorrow in class. Make sure that you have these different terms included in your notes. Don't forget you can rewind these videos, you can pause them, you can revisit them, but alignment is a very essential piece to the design puzzle for your book. Thanks so much for watching, Nerds. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.